And I could see him smiling. It's as if he was making fun of me, like there was this contact, and I could feel like he can see that I'm freezing. And then it was time for him to get on stage and get his award. And during his speech, he's like, I hope next year you're going to do this ceremony in a warmer place because this lady here is freezing. And in 24 hours, this comment went viral all over the world.
Maher, are you ready?
Yes, I am. What's that writing, by the way?
Man, this shirt actually I borrowed it from my cousin. It says Elon Musk thinking of quitting my jobs and becoming an influencer full time. What do you think? I think it would suit him. I think it would 100% suit, especially Elon Musk. هلا potentially أنا كمان, but at a later stage.
لا, it's cool, I must say.
So guys, thank you very much for joining this episode. We're very excited. And I'm happy and also sad to say this is the last episode of season 1. Nonetheless, big things are coming. And I would like to take the chance to thank all of the people that supported us. We're going to get to that at the end of the episode. So please stay tuned because we might give a bit of spoilers for season 2. But for the moment, I want to focus on a very special guest that we have today. Our guest was a former basketball player. First female sports TV presenter in Lebanon. She's also a TV host on I forgot the name.
Victorious, I think.
Victorious, 100%. Yeah. Victorious, it's a football competition. And currently, she's a TV presenter for WWE Arabia.
She has done it all, in other words.
She has done it all. Amazing adventure. Miss Nathalie Mamo, welcome.
Thank you, guys. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very good. How are you?
I mean, I'm doing amazing. Again, you have a fantastic career. I'm looking forward for you to share the insights that you have with our viewers. I want to leave the floor to you. Maybe just tell us a bit about yourself, and or we can guide you, whatever you
whatever you want. I can introduce myself, or if you have questions,
go ahead.
Please.
I would like to leave the floor to you first.
Well, I mean, you said a lot of what I've done already in my life, but I can't but go back to mentioning that it all started on court. I was a basketball player, and this is where it all started. I was 11 years old when I first played in first division, and I was the youngest back then. I joined the national team at the age of 13. I come from a family where sports and basketball are all we live for. My grandfather was a basketball player and then part of the national team. Then it was my dad. And then it was me. I grew up right next to a club called Kahraba, and I remember I was the only girl among hundreds of boys, and there was no other girls. So I was shy to just play basketball in front of them. So I used to watch what they do, had the keys to the club, go at 7 a.m. in the morning and just imitate everything they used to do.
Wow, 7 a.m. That's good.
And then I started practicing with the boys any hour of the day. Whenever I had a place, I used to just play with them. And I remember when the coach wanted to form the first women's team, I'm like, I don't want to play with the girls. I just want to stay playing with the boys. And this is how I just played at a better level. This is why at 11 years old, I was able to just play in first division. So going back to how it all started, by 13, I was playing for the national team. And I was so lucky to be playing with one of the best teams ever formed as a national team or even with the teams. And we won everything possible. So I used to go on TV a lot as a guest until I was approached by MTV and they asked me to be the first woman to present sports in Lebanon. And back then I barely spoke Arabic. Really, I would never forget that I didn't even know how to type Arabic and I had to write my own news. So I rejected the offer, but they insisted so much. And I said yes. By really, when you get a job offer and then you say, even if you don't know how to do it, just say yes and
you'll learn.
You'll improvise.
Yes. So this is exactly what happened. And things just escalated from that moment on. I was the first female to present sports on MTV. I was the first to move to Sky News after that. I hosted the biggest show ever produced, which was a TV reality show. I was the first woman to host the first Arab woman to host the Globe Soccer Awards, first woman to ever host a WWE show in the region, first woman to win Sports Media Personality of the Year. I'm very honored to have broken so many barriers for women in sports. And eventually, no matter where I reach, it will always go back to where it
Of
started,
course.
which was on court.
I'm sure you're an inspiration to many, many women out there. Like even to us ourselves, like what you have accomplished is amazing. And as you can see, there's a lot to tackle today. There's a lot to tackle. I don't know if we reminded them to like and subscribe. Did we?
No, we didn't, but they must know by now.
They must
guys,
know by
because
now.
80% of the people that are watching are not subscribed. So please just press the subscribe button. You would do us a big favor. It's really interesting, as Walid mentioned, and you were the first to do so many stuff. But I want to talk a little bit about your basketball days. So obviously you grew up in a like house which was like all about sports, basketball, football, maybe like so many sports. Did you feel the pressure when you wanted to pursue becoming like a basketball player, or was it like a passion you had ever since you were born? Because like as I mentioned, you were like surrounded by these basketball fans, basketball environment.
Yeah, no, I was never pressured by my father or my family to play basketball. I just grew up in a family where basketball was always in the background. I lived next to a basketball club. I think I inherited love for basketball. I inherited the talent as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it grew, kept on growing and growing. I remember when I first signed my first basketball contract at the age of 11, I remember my mom saying that if this is ever going to affect your grades at school, we're stopping basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I was just an average student. And I remember from that moment on until I graduated from AUB, from university, I graduated first from my high school, from first with high distinction from AUB. I just wanted to perfect everything just because I wanted to protect my basketball on the side. And a lot of people think that my father played the role because he used to be part of the federation. And I remember very well when I was 13 and I was asked to join the national team because there was like a list and then you go for tryouts and then they choose. I remember my dad asking the coach not to pick me on the team because he didn't want them to think that it's because I'm his daughter. And I was upset with him at that time, but I was chosen and I made it. I remember very well. I made it to the national team and I played ever since for the next 12 years until I retired.
Wow. And do you think it's like hard to improve and like develop as a woman in the Arab country as a basketball player? Like, what do you think are like the main challenges that, for example, let's talk on a small scale in Lebanon, like maybe in terms of the facilities or maybe in terms of like the things we inherit, such as
especially in Lebanon.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe,
an athlete.
Like exactly what you're saying. Like I think they focus much more on men. That's what like they put the resources there.
Yeah. So what were like the main challenges that you?
I do agree. Back then it was the focus was much more on the men and the national teams were not always formed, especially for the underage, because it all starts with the youngsters for the national teams when you're 12, 16, under 18, and then so on. So I was lucky that during that era, they were a bit focusing on the under 18 national team because the team that won after, because we were undefeated for quite some time, we played together since we were kids. I was always the youngest by far, but we stayed together. And then we were undefeated for more than 10 years in the Arab world. We won the Arab Championship so many times as a national team and as a clubs, like with the clubs. We were the first team to go from Division B to Division A in Asia. But of course, I have to admit that the sports technology and mentality in Lebanon has changed a lot from back then. And the way I see the girls training today is so much different than before, without even forgetting that we never had like foreigner players in the league, and which brings the level to a different level when you play and with other like American players or any other European player on your team. We're not broadcasted on TV. One of the games per year where it was broadcasted, Instagram was not there. So the exposure was also not there. But a lot has changed. And I see more focus on women right now. The federation, of course, there's a big difference between men and women, but the federation is putting a bit more effort into forming the national team again, supporting them, taking them like on camps and everything. But there is a long way still.
But do you think it's fair that there's this, let's say,
discrimination,
especially because like we live in the Arab world and like there's this stigma.
I know, but we took it on a small scale. But if you take it on a bigger scale, like women NBA,
yes,
NBA,
it is a big difference in everything. The only thing that's fair out there in the world is the tennis world. This is the only place where a woman and a guy are paid the same amount of money when they win championship. And I'm talking about the Grand Slams. other than that, the difference between salaries and everything else is huge between the women's league and
But
the
it's
men's.
justified, no?
Excuse me, it
It's
is justified, of course.
Because of sponsors, viewers.
Definitely, of
Like
course.
they need to get the attention, first of all, which they are. It's very competitive at the end of the day, but there's still like there's World Cup for men, World Cup for women.
For sure.
Then you can see the
I
number
agree.
of viewers.
I wouldn't say it is justifiable because it's like unfair to say that. But I do understand where it's coming from, especially from the business side.
If you look at it from the business side, at the end of the day, it's who's bringing in the money.
Yes,
it's the
I
sponsors.
agree. The viewers and the sponsors. So they just go to where that comes from. But there are ways to make people love as well women's sports around the world, and eventually push it to higher levels.
I definitely.
Speaking of tennis, like I'm thinking about it. Maybe it's the first time I ever know about this fact. That
this is a very interesting fact.
Yeah, like every time we're doing a podcast, every time we're doing an episode, we're learning stuff that are new, and sometimes we like take some moments to digest what we're learning while we're having this convo.
But my next, I would say, question is like, you said education, you tackled that. How did you manage your time with education, especially that you became an honor student? You said you
yes, I was
as an honor student. You're so scared of getting bad grades, and your mom tells you don't go to basketball anymore.
I sacrificed so much, honestly, during my school days and then during my university days. I had basketball as a priority and my education, and you had to say a lot of no's to so many things, no to so many outings, no to so many things where I didn't even enjoy my UB days because I used to play for the UB team, for my club, for the under-18 national team, and for the national team at the same time. And I remember that I used to have to travel with the national team during the midterms and the finals period. So I used to go to my professors and take permission to travel, and I had to do all my exams in like one day. So I had to either be studying while on a trip with the national team. And I remember like the team had a curfew at 10. I used to stay up and study like midnight. And then when the team had to wake up at like 8, 9, I had to wake up at 6 and continue studying because I was still much younger than all the girls. I was still in university. Even before that, at some point, I remember I used to play for Hekme or Sagesse, and we were playing the Arab Championship. And I was still in school. I remember my mom picking me up at 12 to go practice with the team, finish, come back to school, finish again, and go practice again with the team. And yeah, so that was basically my life. It was just basketball and studying.
But it's good. You had a supportive mom to take you and bring you.
Yeah, my mom was my number one fan, and like she never missed a single practice. She never missed a single game. She was the one dropping me every single day of my life to practice until I was 18. And this is something. I come from a family who supported me so much. Even my grandmother never missed a game. So this, I think,
I love that.
I have a very cool grandmother. Like,
would love to meet her.
Hopefully she's watching
yeah,
this.
she's definitely watching.
Let her watch this.
She doesn't. She would definitely watch it. Trust me. If she's already seen it on Instagram, because she's also on Instagram. And
so I need to put my grandma on Insta as well.
Yeah. So I was lucky to have them support me through it all.
Amazing.
But during like you had lots of success. 65 titles on a local, national, international level. What was the key success factor?
Me.
You.
My determination.
Amazing.
And I really wanted to make it. I wanted to be one of the best. And it was not like because I was challenging anyone. I was like in my mind just wanting to challenge myself every day. And I really, and I was lucky, honestly. And this is something, because it's a basketball game. We're not playing tennis. We're not playing an individual sport. I happened to be playing during a time where I believe we were the best combination of players who played together, because definitely we just, as I told you, we won everything possible. Everything possible an Arab team back then could win. So it's a lot of these things. And we were together, like sacrificing so much, giving from our own time. We were not even paid back then well to play basketball. When you play for the national team, it's just, you play because you're just wearing the jersey and you're putting the flag here. So you just sacrifice your summer, you sacrifice your time, you don't see your friends, you don't see your family at times. And
do you regret any of it?
Not at all. I'll just go back and I'll do it all over again, because it just shaped me into becoming the person I am. And I always say that even if you don't make it as a basketball player, even if you don't become a champion is not if you win a cup or you have a medal around your neck. A champion is how you live your life on every single day. So this discipline this game has given me I just took it with me in life, and this is why I achieved everything else.
It's
Amazing
actually
to hear
funny,
that.
Walid, and you were asking her if she regretted it. I know my next question was, you were talking a lot about like sacrificing and dedicating your life to the sport. But sometimes like we all have these like moments that we kind of like question ourselves or like have double thoughts on whether we want to stop.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, is it worth it? These days, these dark days, how did you manage to like overcome these days? And what was the end goal you have put for yourself to like say, okay, no, I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing, and there's nothing like
Stopping was never an option for me. Giving up was not even an option. I remember, I mean, my boyfriends were always jealous from basketball.
Yeah, I want to know how
They were always jealous
Did
you set like the priorities straight? I want to know.
from my coach, from my teammates, and even my friends. Like I always remember, خلص قفل التمرين, it's okay. I'm like, I can't. It's not. It doesn't go this way. She's like, it's just one practice. No, it's not one practice. If every one of us is just gonna say that,
That's a Kobe Bryant mentality, man.
yeah, that's the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
So I just giving up was really never there, never an option. But I do admit that there is a point in my life after after years and years, you get to a point in your life and you look back and ask, did I miss out on things that I wanted to do and I couldn't? And this is when, I wouldn't say the passion just changes, but this is when you're close to the end. This is where you start thinking, is it time for me to retire? Is it time for me to focus on my career? Is it time for me to focus on my personal life and my future? And I think this is what happened at some point in my life when I retired and I moved to Dubai. It was back then for two reasons. Love was first one. And
isn't it always?
and two was bus career. And I don't regret it because I stopped at a perfect time where I had won everything I wanted to win. And I lived the best years any player could wish for. And I took from this game everything I could properly dream of.
Did it impact any relationship you might have?
No,
like,
because
did it deteriorate any friendship?
it never deteriorated
Boyfriend.
friendships. They were always supportive. They just couldn't understand my dedication to this game. With my boyfriends, they had to know basketball comes first. You can't accept it. I can't be with you.
خلص طفل.
So
Because it's part
they
like
were
of
just
who you
always there
are.
watching. So that was the only way I could just like I appreciated it. It made me like get closer to them because it's a big part of my life. So
Amazing.
yeah,
I'm sure, Kamena, you went through a lot of unforgettable memories during your career in basketball.
I
You did happy ones and sad ones.
definitely.
Can be sad ones?
Yes,
of course.
a very sad one. And
I would like to hear like maybe one happy one, like what was one of the career highlights, and another one that highlights like once you felt a real heartache.
I'm gonna start with the good ones.
Good news, bro.
I mean, I was blessed to live a lot of beautiful memories on court because we won so many things. We won so many buzzer beater games and championships, and these were things I don't forget. I never forget my first national game. I was playing for the first time for the national team, and I was 13 years old. I remember it was against Palestine, and we were in Sports City in Lebanon. I played 21 minutes, and I scored 21 points.
Wow.
And I remember there was a group of kids watching, and they thought I was the star of the team. And back then, I was not. I was the youngest. So the game after was a tough one, and I wasn't playing, so they didn't like it. So there was a kid who just runs to me, and he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Nathalie." And then he goes back, he runs back up, and then they start cheering. It was so funny. I still remember it. It's in Arabic, saying, "لعيونك جينا ناتالي لعبك فرجينا," something like that.
I love how creative they
and
are.
then the coach called for a change, like he put me in. I remember this. So,
وبعدين رجعوا عملوا لنا نغمة تانية للكوتش.
but it's just nice to see when people like you as a player and they ask for pictures when we used to travel. I remember really we went to different places in Algeria, Morocco, and then because you end up winning, then everybody wants to take pictures with you and stuff like that. Back then it was something because now I experienced this because I'm on TV, but back then it meant much more because how do you know me? Why do you want to take a picture with me? So yeah, the big heartache of my career was the end because I never got to really say goodbye to the game. I really remember my last game was not supposed to be my last game because we were playing in a season where we had the chance to win the championship, and we were playing the first game of the final. It was 3 out of 5, And I was the captain of Riyadh back then, and there was a problem with the men's team and the federation.
Mhm.
And they decided to withdraw back then, the men's
The
team.
men's team.
And we were in the middle of the game. It was the first quarter, 6 minutes after the first quarter. I remember the coach calling for a timeout, and he asked us to withdraw. Just to
Wow,
stand.
that's so
Yes. And
Rough.
sad.
I
It's in
remember
the final.
No, I remember going to the lockers room, and I cried my heart out, but they couldn't understand because I knew back then that I had signed my contract with Sky News, and I knew
And
that
they did not know.
no, I knew that was my last game.
But they
It's-
did not know.
No,
Riyadh.
the team didn't know. No, I hadn't like,
Oof.
and that was it. That was really the last time I wore a jersey.
That is a big
Wow.
heartache to be
Yeah.
honest.
You're speaking about like you are on TV actually, and I just had this question like cross my mind. How does it feel to be sitting on the other end of the interview today?
It is how it started. It's because I was interviewed, and then they asked me to go on camera as a presenter, and I remember I'm like, no, there's no way. I'm shy as a person. Used to be, maybe not much anymore. And I don't speak Arabic. And I remember they insisted, and when I said yes, and I learned that I have to write my own news in Arabic,
Mhm.
I had to be live at 8 in the morning. I remember waking up at 2 in the morning just because I wanted to find al-ba wal-ta wal-fa
That way.
on
You
the
would
keyboard
wake up at 2?
at 2 in
By
the
what time do
morning.
you sleep?
Trust me, I used to go to bed like a student just because I was nervous. It was my
السبعة
first.
يعني.
Yeah.
No. At like 11, I barely slept
You slept
because
at 11,
it
woke
took me
up at 2.
ages. Yeah, it used to take me ages.
كنت تنام 3 ساعات.
Yeah, and then at some point in for quite a lot of like a long 4 or 5 years, I had to wake up at 5 in the morning to go to the newsroom.
هلا it's fine if you wake up early بس when النوم؟
هلا اول مره طلعت على الهواء ما كان همي نام همي روح ليه كيف اكتب الفاء والتاء والباء. Really, I couldn't write on the
Yeah.
keyboard, and it's just funny because a month later I was just typing in Arabic so quickly, and then
You were
Yeah.
French educated?
yes,
French educated.
right.
I see.
No, German school. I speak German as well.
German
School,
okay.
so.
هلا واصلين languages. لا,
Yeah.
very interesting.
So yeah, and then I remember first time I went on air, it's addictive.
It's addictive.
Really, you get off air and you just want more.
When's
You
the
want more.
next?
You
Yeah.
want more. We want to go back on air. You want to do more. And this is
Yeah.
what just took me to
Like,
places.
to be honest أنا كمان يعني أنا هون على البودكاست I really love being
تمام.
here.
انت دايما كنت تقول لي انت وقت نزلت على لبنان he was like I miss
بدنا
shooting
نرجع-
يلا we
بدنا
have to
نرجع على
shoot we have to
shooting.
shoot
بدي أرجع أجي.
especially when you find انه لا the thing you're actually like pursuing is something you want to do. It's not
Yeah.
like a 1 or 2 time thing, and that's exactly what happened with you in your early days. لا, very good. Just I want to say one more thing about basketball. I know I mentioned, and obviously like the passion is spurring out of you when you speak about basketball in general. And like as Walid asked you, there are good things that happen to you, bad things, and we're talking about the good things. And I feel like you want others to experience these good things, and which leads to my next question, and that is, do you have like any plans to like help women grow in at least maybe the Dubai region or Lebanon, the Lebanese region, in terms of like basketball career wise?
Of course, I always say that this game made me who I am, and at some point in my life, I have to pay it forward. So now is the time, yes, and I do definitely have a lot of plans to do that in the region and beyond. I don't know if I'm ready to say all the plans I have, but I do have
Exclusive
a plan.
from High Tech.
I do have plans.
You
Not
have to
ready,
see first,
not
yeah.
ready. But yes, of course, there will be stuff done off camera and just to take
Amazing.
the basketball,
Amazing.
not league, the basketball level here in the region to the next.
Yeah, perfect.
Definitely. Now we've talked a lot about basketball. I'd like to move on.
Yes.
TV presenter, the first woman sports TV presenter in Lebanon. You mentioned that you were on MTV,
Yes.
correct? And you kind of mentioned some of the challenges of like learning Arabic and like getting used to be in front of the camera. But what did you do, to ease those challenges, let's say? And how did you, like, how long did it take you to fully be comfortable?
It didn't take long, honestly. I don't know what's the thing about the camera that once you're on it, you're just a different person. And until today, a lot of my friends see me on camera and they're like, "You're a different person
You're
on
a different
camera."
person on camera.
That was not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge of being the first woman to present sports in Lebanon was actually being a woman. Because the mentality back then, they were not used to seeing women talk about sports. They would definitely think she's just reading a script. So to win the credibility of your viewers was the biggest challenge, actually. And you have a very short time frame once you're on air to either win the crowd or let them just zap. And that was my challenge. And I think my weakness became my strength, because my weakness was my language. And I was the type who used to go on camera and say Roland Garros with the complete French accent, then say Bastian Schweinsteiger with a complete German accent, then go on and say Cleveland Cavaliers with the American accent. And they just loved it. And it became my identity until today. And this is how I got to
What was the first word you said?
Roland Garros.
Roland Garros?
Yeah. Tour de France, Roland
Tour de
Garros.
France.
This is
Tennis thingy.
Roland
Right.
Garros is
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
Grand Slams in
Okay,
tennis. Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, yeah, definitely. So you used it to your leverage.
I
You
made
leveraged the language.
Yeah, and they loved it. People recognized me from this, and it became a joke in some of the, back then كان في shows بتسألوا. And
طبيعي.
I didn't mind it, and today it's because of my languages that I got to where I did as well, and I just turned everything to my advantage.
Amazing.
هلا you talk about languages تحمست تغير شوي language بدي اسال بالعربي. اكيد هلا من our audience في كتير عالم عم بيحضروا وكل واحد اكيد بده to pursue their own thing. Some people are working, some
Yeah.
people are still in university. Of the people who want to actually be like TV hosts, what are like some maybe advice you would give them just to like avoid the things like everyone falls into in the beginning, just take to step up the
And
game
to-
at an early stage,
And
I
to
think.
potentially improve their skills as well.
No,
Yeah.
the first thing I say is just don't be fooled by fame. This is the biggest mistake. Everybody wants to be on TV because they want to become famous. And life on TV life in this field is not always like red
As easy as
flowers,
projected.
and
Definitely
there's
not.
so much you go through, so many sacrifices, so many times you just want to wake up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. So this is my first advice, and always remember that this camera can make you a big star, and this camera can forget you the next day. So it's a click. Just like they make you the up, they can make you just fall really, really fast. So it's a big process. They have to look forward to the journey, and then just the fact that you just want to go on camera and become famous.
Definitely. There's also this problem sometimes. Let's say, like you have to be on TV a lot. Like you're obviously Golden Globe, TV host, podcast, whatever. So you're on TV a lot. But sometimes you face situations potentially where you don't feel too well. Maybe صار شي معك.
No, of course it's
صار شي معك يعني potentially emotionally, physically. I know. But you need to be there. How do you
100% like at least in the show like you're 100% as if you have to do your job, but sometimes as Walid is saying
أنا بركي بعد أوقات
No, I
في شي
always
عم
say
تمرق فيه.
behind the presenter, there's a human, and people tend to forget this because
Exactly. Yeah.
they watch a person just smiling all the time, owning it, just rocking the screen. And there are so many days where we wake up sick, heartbroken, having a heartache. I don't feel like getting out of bed. And you all have to do is get up, get in your suit, wear your makeup, wear your biggest smile, get on camera and smile. And it's like you're not allowed to be human.
But you must be mentally strong to do
You
that.
have to definitely mentally be strong.
هيدا الباسكت.
And
هيدا الباسكت.
هيدا الباسكت أكيد, of course, but not every presenter was a basketball player, but I see it in all presenters, and the presenter in you grows. Every time you go on air, it just grows a certain responsibility towards you. It's not like you can miss a day at work and ask for sick leave. It doesn't go this way. There's a grid, there's airtime.
لازم تجي.
You're booked, and it's not like somebody can come and cover. So I've experienced this around me, and we all go through these days when we're not doing well. You're not in your heart. You're not doing well because of so many things you're going through. But you just have to get out there,
Push
whether
yourself.
you're on stage hosting a big event or ceremony, whether you're live on camera, whether you have to stand in your heels for 6 hours filming a show or an episode of The Victorious. Sometimes you just have to suck it in and just live with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Walid, you mentioned a very interesting link who maybe لأنه of basketball you were used to handle like the pressure
Yes.
and like audience watching you and like to make like I don't want to say precision moves like on the spot, like like when to act, or for example if you want to translate it to a basketball example, when to pass or when to take the right shot. So it's all about like precision.
Yeah.
Do you think that helped you a lot when
It did help me with the lives. And I remember when I moved to Sky News, I used to the sports bulletin was long,
Yeah.
and you were live, and you were put sometimes in situations where you are interrupted and you have to go live to something else, or you have to improvise, and this has never happened in MTV.
Yeah.
So you had to be quick, but very quick, and you have to be like alert. You had to know about everything about sports. Like you'd be on air and they'd tell you Alex Ferguson just decided that he's retiring, and you have to go live on air for 5 minutes talking about Alex Ferguson. But had you not read about it the past 2 weeks, you don't know what to say. Or for example, we're going live with the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Then you have to know how to what they call is ad-lib, is when you put just footage and then you have to talk on top.
Okay.
So all these things, I think basketball has, like, I took the discipline or the whatever.
It planted some roots that you leveraged.
Yeah, certain qualities in the person I am, and I applied it in my job.
Regarding your job, I know you presented the Soccer Globe Award to Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, I'll tell you what is that.
ولا ما صبتها.
لا ما صبتها كتير، ما حطيتهم ورا بعض صح. It's called the Globe Soccer Awards.
Globe Soccer Awards.
One of the biggest award ceremonies in football. So there you have the FIFA Best, and you have the Ballon d'Or, and you have the Globe Soccer Awards. And I was chosen to be the first Arab to ever host this, and I was lucky to host it for 4 years in a row, where I got to meet Cristiano for 3 years in a row.
Wow, بصراحة أنا one of my biggest.
I was a Messi fan, but I can't
You're
deny.
a Messi fan?
I still am a Messi fan.
But he's a nice guy.
Ronaldo, he is.
Amazing.
He is a very nice. He has this like you can't. His charm is like indescribable.
Especially
and his confidence.
When you were
no, this incident.
She was cold when she was giving the award.
This incident went viral. I remember. Yes, I was hosting the Globe Soccer Awards. It was COVID times, and it was happening under the Burj Khalifa. And then there's the fountain. It was 17 degrees, and I was wearing this dress where my back was entirely showing, and it was so cold. I was freezing. And every 15 minutes, the fountain was coming out, and there were just water coming on me. So I was literally freezing. And he could see that. Cristiano was on the first row, and I could see him smiling. It's as if he was making fun of me, like there was this contact, and I could feel like he can see that I'm freezing. And then it was time for him to get on stage and get his award. And during his speech, he's like, I hope next year you're going to do this ceremony in a warmer place, because this lady here is freezing. And in 24 hours, this comment went viral all over the world. Even in Madrid, they started saying Georgina is jealous of this lady.
Georgina.
And she was there, she was watching. And none of this is true, but they just want to write. You know how they love tabloids and stuff like that. In Ethiopia, there were articles. I swear, and they just gathered them. I kept them as a souvenir. It was a nice moment, honestly.
Did you have a chance to have a conversation with him or no?
A bit after, but with him,
fast,
they just keep on
fast.
taking him from one place to another. But he's a nice. I respect him a lot because he does a lot of good, and him as a person and how he lives and represents sports he's a true champion on and off court. Like he's not acting.
He's the GOAT.
I don't know.
He's the GOAT.
I don't know.
هيدي باش
I don't know. Let's do this off camera, but I don't know.
Just for the record, I'm a big Ronaldo fan, but I think Messi is on a different level, honestly.
مثل ما قلت خلينا نعملها off the record.
I agree with him, whether on camera or off camera. So ما بعرف شو بدك.
He's a Ronaldo fan, so he wants to
We
talk.
can agree to disagree.
Deal. And speaking of iconic moments, obviously you've met Cristiano Ronaldo and you've met so many other big
Maradona and
players.
so many other, yes.
Henry, Figo, Ronaldinho, the list goes on. What are some iconic moments you can share with us, regardless whether they happened off camera? Do you have some funny incidents as the one you mentioned about Ronaldo?
I had some. It's a moment I would never forget, that I freestyled with Diego Maradona.
With Diego Maradona, you freestyled.
I freestyled because I'm good with the basketball. I flip it around my finger on my body, so I know how to do some of these tricks.
Nice.
And he was just in front of me, so I was doing this stuff, and then he was doing stuff with his feet with the ball. Then we exchanged some headers. Not that I'm a good football player, but I don't know how it happened that I was able to do 6-7 exchanges with my head. And so yeah, I had good times with Diego Maradona because we were filming The Victorious, and he was part of the jury. And I remember we were filming the final. I was wearing this one piece where also my back was showing. And we started filming. It was 16 cameras live. It was live on tape. It wasn't live on TV. And you know how everybody's focused at the final. We're going on air, 3, 2, 1. We're on stage. I had my co-host there, and then I get on stage and I hear someone you know how they whistle with their fingers, he stops the whole thing. He stands up, he holds me, and he starts doing dance with me on stage in front of the entire
Diego Maradona.
Diego Maradona and the crowd. And I'm like, oh my God. He loved women. It was known.
Yeah, it was no.
And we had this language barrier because he didn't speak
He didn't
English.
speak English?
No. It was like, it was hard to communicate. It was like, are you good? Me good? You good? Like stuff like that. But
only the headers.
yes, we just had this moment. And I had a lot of these moments as well with other players because they're people, they're human. So you sit with them.
Yeah, definitely.
You talk about their families, about the kids, what they do in their life. I also remember a moment that happened with Ronaldinho. He took a selfie with me.
Yeah.
From his phone.
So he took a selfie with
you.
Ronaldinho took a selfie.
Because I was taking a selfie with him, and then he's like, we had a break, and then he took a selfie. He posted it on his Instagram.
Wow.
And then in Brazil, I became the new girlfriend.
The new girlfriend of Ronaldinho.
The new girlfriend. And there were articles taking like my pictures from Instagram and like saying like, we introduce you to the new girlfriend of Ronaldinho. And even, you know how they do these 5-minute videos about the life of a football player?
Yeah.
You can find it. And at some point they say that he had times where he was not very disciplined, and then he was partying. He met a lot of women, and then there's my picture with him. And I'm like, no, this is not okay. It's not okay.
Like, when did you find out? Like, after a while?
Like, this happened a year after. But the selfie happened on the spot. It was supposed to. It was a good thing for me. But I'm not the girlfriend. I'm just the co.
That's stuff you cannot control. Like you said, like people and TV reporters, whatever. Sometimes they just make news for the sake of it.
But it's good publicity sometimes.
It's good publicity, بس انه انزعجت من الموضوع.
لا, it's just ما انزعجت at all. No, because it didn't harm me in any way. It's not true. And if I'm asked, and it's not like he pretended, like he had nothing to do with it. It's just
هو ما خصه بعالم بحب تحكي.
So one of the mornings I will never forget is I woke up with a like from David Beckham.
With a what?
A like on my Instagram picture.
From David Beckham.
Wow.
So I had to screenshot it, send it to the girls. He doesn't follow me, but I think it's because he was seeing me in pictures from Michel Salgado, he's a friend, Luis Figo, and stuff like that. I don't know how it ended up with him liking the picture, which made my day.
طب ما بعتي له كنت تسألي why did you
لا ما بدي بين حالي بنقول شردقه يعني, so I just let it go.
لا. وانت, do you still like feel the excitement when you meet new football players, أو خلص it became a norm now?
No, I always feel like I would
never. في حدا بعد ما التقيتي معه ولا؟
في هلا بقول لك في غلطة عملتها بحياتي, بس I think we're gonna get to that. بس في رافائيل نادال. He's one of those I would love to meet. But yeah, it's always exciting because I would never forget that I was somebody who used to buy jerseys. I was somebody who collected paninis during the World Cup. You know, these pictures.
Yeah.
And now I'm the person handing him the trophy and the Globe Soccer Awards. I'm the person hosting the show. So it's humbling and it's beautiful.
It is definitely.
So I don't take it for granted. No, I don't take it for granted.
I mean, meeting all of it's some people's dream.
Yes,
including mine, maybe. all of this.
I try to make one of your dreams come true.
Please, if you can, I would appreciate it. But also being like to talk more about the victorious. You also like it wasn't all fun and happy times, of course, because from what I understand, victorious involved you guys going and casting football players from different Arab countries.
Yes.
So how was that experience?
I always say this experience was human, as a human experience before anything, and I didn't expect it to be this. It was harsh. It was not easy because the format was exactly like Star Academy or these TV reality shows where we go on a casting tour and we had to be in a different Arab country every 2 or 3 days. And the stuff I've seen, like how bad some of the players want, or the things they're ready to do to just make it. By the end of the day, it's just one kid out of thousands of kids that will be casted that was going to make it, win $100,000, win a contract with one of the teams. So, and then the few that were selected, there were 20 in the academy, and the stuff they lived, where they come from, the struggles they go through, it just grows on you, and you feel like responsible for them. You just want to help them on an individual basis, no longer as like we're not on a show anymore. It's life. So it did affect me a lot. It did make me grow as a person, as a sister, as a big sister. Towards some of them I'm still in touch with till today. Yes, we lived amazing moments on the show. Amazing moments that I can never put in words. I can never even put in pictures. It was just that moment that we lived together. We were filmed 24/7. We were living ups and downs. We cried a lot. We laughed a lot. We won a lot. We lost a lot. So it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever hosted.
Of course.
And I'm just sad this show didn't see a continuity. And I always hope and wish that there will be another season, hopefully.
Hopefully so. But
Wow.
what was one of the, let's say, also one of the toughest moments potentially you faced with potentially one of the players or like a difficult
Yes,
moment
it is.
maybe?
It is. It is something I remember from season one. I always made it a point because I used to play the role of the big sister off camera and sometimes on the show, but I was also the one who used to come in and tell them who the nominees are, and I used to play this role of bad woman where I had to make them cry. I was really like the bad guy. But then I made it a point to go sit. There's this interview room where you sit and listen to the players after they just talk to the camera. And there was this little kid who was the nominee after the 4th week. And they were asking him, he was nominated, and they were asking him, what would you like to do with the $100,000 if you win? And to him, I don't think he knew what the $100,000 because he said, I want to build a building and I want to do I don't know what. And I want to do, I'm like, this is not enough. You can't do this, all this. And then at some point he said, I want my dad to do a surgery because he doesn't walk. And I would like to do that to help him because apparently they're 8 at home and he was the
Wow.
youngest. He was left at his mother passed away and his brothers and sisters got married. So he was the one taking care of his dad the entire time, helping him eat, shower, walk, taking him from a place to another. And this really just, I don't know, I just couldn't keep it in. So I went to the production and I'm like, guys, please, there are so many people who would just volunteer and help him. Make a report, make something, put it during the prime. And a lot of people just volunteer or they said okay and they forgot about it. He was saved, luckily, by the public. He was nominated the week after. He was saved by his players. And then 3 weeks after, he was also nominated. And I remember so well. They came in and they gave me an envelope. And they said, not this time. Because the envelope meant that I'm coming in to say who the nominees are. But during the prime, they said, not this time. It's not you who's going to read the envelope. It's Bandar. His name was Bandar. I will never forget. So they played this report that was so emotional. Already everybody was crying from the report. And there was this music where his brother comes in.
Wow.
A brother who he had
Super
not seen.
emotional.
Yeah, it's very emotional. I was already crying. And the camera was just following me with the envelope. I had no idea what's written in there. But I don't know why I decided to read what's in there while I'm on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, the victorious سيتبرع بإجراء العملية إلى والده.
Wow.
And I was in tears.
خلاص.
I was crying, and I could hear them from the gallery saying, "Don't cut." And I'm like, Maradona was crying. Bender was on the floor. I was crying, and I'm like, no, this is way too. That was the episode that was the most viewed.
I didn't watch this episode on YouTube.
It was so emotional that I felt responsible for Bender for month and month after the show. So yeah, these moments are stuff that just make you.
Of course.
They're human side, bro.
صراحة
عم بغير لك المود وبدي اياك
يغير لي شوي.
بدي اياك انت تفتح الموضوع.
بس very nice of you to be honest يعني following up with these
yeah.
اهم شيء ما تنزل دمع هلا لأنه بدنا نحكي عن شيء بس فرح هو شيء WWE. هلا هو هذا الشيء انه عن جد it's very cool to me personally بس لافتتاحها لانه انا I've been a big fan of WWE. I think most of the people that are watching ما بعرف انت وليد كمان as they watch WWE while growing up
كنت احضر يعني جون سينا اندرتيكر
بعدهم مش من زمان وقف
انا بعد شوي بتابع لوكي
كلهم I met them came to Dubai once yes
ما بعرف شو قولك على الموضوع
like at the end of the day we all know it's not really يعني it's all acting بس how are they لا
movies are كمان not chill.
I'll explain to you what it is
but
yeah.
it's trained يعني of course it needs lots of expertise.
It's by definition called fixed entertainment. It is fixed entertainment.
Exactly.
And it's like you're watching series. They're all each one of they call them the superstars. They have a character, so they're in character.
Exactly.
So the reason why it doesn't take a break. WWE is every single week.
Longest running show, right?
Doesn't stop, no matter what. Christmas, New Year's, it's always every single. It's on Monday night, and now it's like Friday night. SmackDown is Friday, Monday is Raw, and you just want to keep on watching because it's like watching series. You don't know what happens. What happened? He's like with this guy. The next he just fights with him, and it's very exciting. But it is fixed. Yes, it is fixed by description. They don't lie. But these superstars train so much, and the stuff they do is just so hard. Some people think they're just acting.
This is definitely true.
They're athletes from like a very, very, very high level.
Of course, Anna. What I meant is that it's fixed.
It is fixed entertainment.
What I meant, it's not like UFC.
انه results الواحد بيعرف اذا حيخسر او يربح قبل ما يفوت على الجيم. Of course.
مظبوط ولا لا؟
Our referee
cannot disclose خلاص potentially cannot disclose.
لا انا عن جد I'm very curious. انا كتير حشور بهالقصص لانه بتعرفي كمان what do I like to know more كمان ال creative decisions that come with the match.
Yes, there is a huge team that works behind this. The WWE is a huge empire, and I was shocked once I entered this world. It's huge, really, and the way they travel from city to another every single week, and the amount of time, and some decisions are made on the spot. Not everything is like a lot of things happen on the spot. But yeah, it's amazing, really. It's an amazing empire, and I when I started, honestly, it's one of those moments where again I said yes, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know who I could see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and to me they both look the same. They look the same because they both have the long hair and stuff, but
and they're in the same
but
faction.
now I think I have 5 years of archive written in Arabic of WWE, so I really also came a long way when it comes to that, because when I started I struggled, honestly.
Of course,
I struggled, and I remember one moment that happened. It was just only like 3 weeks for me with the WWE, and they sent me to SummerSlam, and I had the schedule to interview some of the superstars that I had. You know, when 3 weeks after starting with WWE, you have 80 names to learn who their characters and what they do, so you don't know them all. And by chance, I was backstage, and there was a superstar called R-Truth.
R-Truth,
who had so he had an invisible friend, and I was not supposed to interview R-Truth. And nobody told me, like, he was not part of the shows before I get there, and like it was overwhelming. And they're like, hey, Nat, the interview R-Truth, and I'm like, okay, fine. And I just came up with a couple of questions. So I asked him a question, and then he turns around and he starts speaking to somebody. And I was on camera, and I'm like, Nat, please, please save me from this. ما عم بفهم شو عم بيصير. So I'm like, I asked him the second question, and he just turned around and he just spoke to this invisible thing next to him, and then he's like, why don't you ask my friend the question? لا عشتها سألت سؤال.
That's good. You're like,
yes, but after that I called my producer. I'm like, you can't put me in this position too early like this. But now I just know them all, and I tell you, it's an incredible world that once you're in it,
it's fun.
And I'm very happy that I was the first woman to. I remember my grandmother, when I told her I want to move to WWE, she was happy, but she didn't know how to tell me, and then she's like, بس ناتي هيدي المصارعة مش لإلنا. فكرتني بدي صارع. قلت لها لا تيتا, I'm just gonna host the show. So, and you know, a lot of barriers were broken by seeing not just this, because in Saudi, I remember, and it was a moment that really I will never forget in my life, because we went to Saudi. That now there's a big deal between Saudi and WWE to host WWE shows every twice a year. And women in Saudi it was a no-no to see a women's match in WWE in Saudi. Yeah. So it was not announced, and I think it was Royal Rumble back in Saudi. And out of nowhere, there was 60,000 people in the stadium, in the arena. And it was not announced. And then there was this women's match that happened in the arena. And I was just watching. And by the end of it, you can see 60,000 people chanting, "This is hope. This is hope." And it was so emotional. The superstars were crying. I was in tears. It went viral even there, so it became a slogan. This is hope. This is hope, and I'm just so happy to see how many barriers were broken ever since. Not just in WWE, with everything, women in sports in the region, and it's just beautiful.
Of course, and it's also beautiful also to see like also KSA is opening up more. And
yes,
more
very much, and I'm just very happy that I was able to play a role in that, and I was the first woman to do this on so many levels, whether with the WWE, with the World Cup, with Globe Soccer. So yeah, this is for me the biggest medal that I wear in my
It's an
career.
amazing medal.
Yeah.
Have you met Vince?
I have from far. I've seen him, but it's not easy to reach Vince. No, it's
I
not
really
easy.
want to know Vince McMahon.
the guy who retired, who هلا انسحب لا.
Yes.
I really want to know
yeah,
what he's like in real life.
Yeah, on TV. It's good to see him on TV.
بس on TV. ده كان في حنسأله.
Have you did ever a fight break out in front of you, or you're like to have to move
No,
away?
these fights don't break out like this out of nowhere. They don't. They don't. But yeah, I was lucky to meet a lot of them, and they're very cool people. They're amazing athletes. They're amazing people, and it's just always nice to just sit and discuss life with these discuss sports, discuss what they go through. And a lot of them end up being married together because it's so demanding. They just from place to another every time. So yeah, no fight happened next to me. I was never hit by mistake. But I remember there was this show in Abu Dhabi, and we made an in-ring entrance, and that was cool. Like we entered the ring, had to get on the ropes, get on like they call it, to do a promo.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool.
I mean, there's lots of players you met, wrestlers, basketball, footballers. صراحة اسم الله. So something a very famous guy that we need to mention also. ضروري ما فينا. Michael Jordan.
That's not a guy. That's God.
That's God. Who's the GOAT, Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, Jordan.
LeBron.
No.
You
know what? You're gonna laugh. I'll tell you the story.
That's like in basketball. I think you're more knowledgeable. Yeah, potential football.
No, listen.
I don't.
And when you kind of talk numbers, stats, LeBron is an overall amazing player, and
exactly.
It would become debate. Like you would say maybe, but what Michael Jordan did to the game of basketball, where it was and where he took it, no athlete in any sport has done this. No, nobody. I can't name a person who made a change in any sport as big as Michael Jordan did. And maybe Tiger Woods in golf, but Michael Jordan and what happened around the world, who doesn't know Michael Jordan?
Sorry, Nathalie. On the GOAT of football, I agree with you. It's Messi. But for the GOAT of basketball, I think it's LeBron. But we can keep this debate for another day.
We can keep it.
But to be honest, she's more of she's
I'm
more
not
of a subject matter expert. I will.
It's you can talk about this for a long time, and you can have your points. But what Michael Jordan did to the game of basketball, nobody did.
To the game of basketball.
Yes, the way he invented a new style of basketball. He made the entire movement around the world. And if you want, like in terms of how many games he played compared to how many games LeBron did, his stats also would also be debatable, you know. But I was lucky to meet both.
You met both.
I met both, but I didn't know I met the first because I went to this basketball camp in Santa Barbara, and I knew I was going there to meet Michael Jordan. I was 16 years old. I was dreaming, like ما عم بحلم ليل ونهار I'm gonna meet Michael Jordan, and I did. From the first day I saw him there, I'm like, this is Michael Jordan, and he used to come every night, give us lectures about different things. And there was, because we were 600 campers, and there was one day where we were supposed to take pictures with him. And I was lucky because it was a group picture, and I was lucky to be sitting next to him. And you can tell from the picture if you ever see it.
You know, I think it's on your Insta.
ملزقة كتفي فيه وإجري ملزقة فيه. I just wanted, I want to hug him, but I don't know how yet. And I was in a camp a week before in Houston. I had lost my shoes. I was a Nike freak and an Air Jordan freak. I even once like hurt my hand here, and I have a Nike swoosh. My mom thought I did it on purpose. I did not do it on purpose, but I'm scarred here. Anyway, so I had to buy the new T-Mac, and it was an Adidas shoe, and it was glowing. It was white. So I was sitting next to him. So بعلق إجره هيك. I'm wearing Air Jordans, by the way. بعلق إجره هيك. بعلق إجره بدعس علي, and he's like, T-Max, right? And I was shivering because Michael Jordan is, and then I'm like, I forgot my shoes in Lebanon, and that was very stupid of me to say, and then I said Lebanon, and then he said Lebanon, right? And then we started talking for like a minute before the picture was taken, and then we took the picture, and he looks at me and just like, see you later, okay?
See you later.
And I'm like, when later? Later. So that same day, he gave us a lecture about free throw shots. And during the day, I had won the free throw competition of the entire camp. So we were 600 campers, عادين, like so many layers of players, and he was around the free throw line. telling us about free throw shots and stuff like that. And then he's like, I'm going to choose 3 people. And if somebody scores, they're going to take my shoes. And the parents of the players were sitting there. We were 40 players from Lebanon. And he chose the first player. They missed. Second, they missed. Then he's like, you. And it was so freezing in Santa Barbara. I was cold wearing my hoodie. And I remember, كان في هول كاميرات وطبعا بز بز ما في take your phone خد لي صورة. So there was this guy next to me. قلت له please take pictures. آخر همي I score, I don't score, just take pictures. So I get on the free throw line and I see Michael Jordan وقف حدا يعني بيعمل لي بغازيت يعني blah blah blah. وأنا ما and then he said on the mic, I think she's gonna be our first winner for the day. وأنا أقول please سيبها للسلة, please سيبها للسلة. لأنه
how old, sorry?
I was 16. I was 16 and I missed. I didn't score it. I missed and everybody was like, oh, like
هو شكله كان بده يعطيك إياها.
كان بده أكيد. أنا بدي أكثر ما هو بده. وبراسي بس إنه هيداك إن شاء الله يكون عم بيصور. And I run back. I take my camera. Did you take pictures? And the guy turns out to be Chinese. ما فهم كلمة من أنا شو قلت له قبل ما أروح. وما أخذ ولا صورة. So that was one of the heartaches from the first time. But the biggest heartache was that during those 5 days, or was it 10? I forgot. One of the coaches during the camp that I used to sing on day and night على الترويقة وعلى الغداء وعلى العشاء. He was coaching us like high five day and night. Was LeBron James.
The king himself.
And he was not drafted yet because everybody was saying this guy is going to be drafted in September. We were in August. وأنا مين LeBron James? مين LeBron James had Michael Jordan. I have a picture taken from that camera. أنا قاعدة هون ومايكل جوردن وليبرون جيمس قاعدين حد بعض هيك. I have a picture. LeBron looks like a student next to Jordan. So I regret it so much. Then I never took a picture with LeBron James back then.
I'm sure you will run into him sometime soon.
But basically يعني انت you went the summer that LeBron got drafted to the Cavs the first time.
And before he signed the $90 million deal with Nike. That was exactly like a month before that.
Yeah. On the
yeah, that was not a long time. Yeah, that was a hard
بس انه كنت عارفين انه he's the chosen one, he's gonna become
عم بيحكوا LeBron عم بيحكوا عنه like in the camp انه he was used to at night they used to play 5-on-5. I used to watch them Jordan, LeBron.
بس انت zero idea.
كان يجيب اصحابه Jordan يكونوا like some of the NBA players يلعبوا 5-on-5 but when you're 16 and you have Michael Jordan خلص ما بتعرف ايش حكي مثل المغروم ومش شايف حده يعني.
بعده ليبرون ما كان معروف.
ما كان روكي.
لا ما كان he wasn't drafted. مين اللي حيطلع بليبرون اذا انت عندك مايكل جوردن.
You're not drafted. He's not.
Now I regret it big time. Like sorry, I owe you one. I owe you an apology.
LeBron she apologized to you. ابعثوا اياها لليبرون بركي بيحضر لنا اياها. صراحة ما بعرف يعني ايش مع كل هول اللعيبه بعد في حدا ما قال لي
نحن لازم نلعب باسكتبول.
نحن لازم نلعب ثلاثتنا باسكتبول شي
يلا anytime whenever you're mentally ready to be beaten by a woman. Let's do this.
صراحة I accept the challenge with very humbleness. أنا بالعكس
أنا I'm down.
I think يعني you will crush us not beat us.
I'm down.
Anytime.
But I would still love to play a game. One last venture بدي أحكي عنها كمان. I think it's the last one. You also developed a course, right?
Yeah.
On Kona Academy. It's an interesting course. I wanted to watch it. I watched the trailer.
Yes.
But it does seem super interesting. It's about TV hosts.
Funny. It's funny for me to realize that after, I don't know, 2009, today, 15 years, I'm developing a course because I always go on air and I apologize to all the journalists because I have never studied this مهنة. I've never studied this field. And alhamdulillah, I made it. I'm in no place to teach, but all I can do is just share my journey, share my challenges, share everything I lived, share how I learned, how I taught myself, and this is what the course was all about because I wrote it with my own hands. I wrote an hour and a half of content and it's where I share where it started, how it started and how I got to everything I did. And I'm not the best presenter I'm not the best akhbar reader. I'm not, but it's just a combination of so many things that made me one of the best. And it's just when you believe in things, really nothing is impossible. And I was blessed that so many doors opened for me at the right time. And I got those opportunities that I knew how to make use of. And So yeah, I just put all this into a course that you can find today on Kun Academy, and it's just funny. I just laugh because I would have never thought that one day I'd be
You
writing
develop
in Arabic
Yeah.
a course.
So you wrote the course?
I wrote the course in Arabic.
Did they approach you or you approached
They
them?
approached me to do this masterclass, and they asked me to develop the whole curriculum.
So they tell you to develop the curriculum.
Yes, yeah, you have a choice. They either help you with it or you do it yourself. And there's no way I'd get on. And I was not reading a script. I was improvising everything. I was just improvising things. And it was not easy at all, I remember. And at some point, I'm like, "Shufa wat hali amri." But I still don't regret it because it's just 15 years of, not 15, 13 years of career put into something. And I'm so happy and proud that I've done this.
Saraha, you should be happy and proud of every single achievement
Literally.
you did.
Thank you.
Personal career. وكمان to level up يعني the women in the Arab society, because there are lots of role models out there, but what you have done from TV presenter, basketball player, the Globe Soccer Award,
Bravo, you got it right.
and all of these صراحة I'm humbled to be sitting next to you.
Thank you.
And
It means a
again,
lot to me.
Thank you so
Same
much.
here. It's a pleasure, Nathalie.
Thank you guys so much.
Just before we close it off, I just want to give one advice in simple terms for people who want to pursue this journey, who want to enter the sports field, who want to do something like on television. What would be one advice you would give from the bottom of your heart?
Honestly, I'd address myself to all the women out there.
You can look here if you want.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I just say barriers have been broken. There's a long way still, but a woman can talk sports. A woman can analyze sports. A woman can understand sports. A woman can present sports. And whatever you want to do in life, if he can, then she definitely can.
Wow.
Amazing words,
I love it.
Nathalie.
If he can, she can definitely can.
Amazing.
And I
words.
believe she can even do it better.
Thank you. Coming from guys like you.
But of course, this is something that's totally proven. There's a country in Africa. I forgot what the country was. It's where مرقت بمشاكل كتير. They slaughtered 1 million men. بدي ارجع اجيب لك اسم البلد. But anyway, now it's run by women. The country is literally run by women. هجيب لك اسم
Who runs the
Nice
world?
talk.
Huh?
Girls.
Beyonce would be happy. Beyonce would be
That's
happy.
right now the situation is so good.
Let's try it in the region.
والله لازم
maybe
leadership.
نخلص لبنان
والله
ونشيل.
لبنان انا بشيل
يلا.
كلهم اسمين ما مشكلة ابدا.
بس
Natalie, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you guys. That was so much fun,
It
and
was a pleasure.
it was a pleasure to me to be here, sit with you, and have this very easy and friendly talk.
yeah, وكمان قلنا انه it's the last episode
Yes.
of season 1, so it's also a pleasure to have you on this season
On the
finale.
season.
I'm happy to have
100%.
concluded the first season
Very
with you
special
guys.
episode with
Thank
a
you.
very special and amazing woman.
But for me now, I would like to have a moment just to tell you thank you all for watching, listening, subscribing, viewing. It's been a hell of a ride. Waleed has put so much work as well for the
Yourself
podcast.
as well, man.
Yeah,
Yourself as well.
we helped each other a lot. It's been a rough ride and a long one because we were able to shoot 10 episodes in 2 months.
It's
We were
amazing.
able to capture the momentum we were on, and especially مع الدعم والسبورت وكل شيء
It's amazing.
الدعم اللي عطونا اياه. So we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back
Definitely.
very soon. Season 2, stay tuned. And now I'm gonna give the floor to Waleed. my co-host.
You already said lots of amazing things, Maher, and it's been a fabulous first season. And I really want to thank everyone that motivated us, encouraged us, because we really did not have any experience in podcasting beforehand. And it's a field that's totally new to us. I mean, we always strive to bring out the best content for you guys, to bring out amazing guests such as Nathalie here. And that's what we want. We want to help you. We want to benefit our viewers. Thank you so much for everyone who subscribed. And as Maher said, season 2 is going to be bigger. Season 2 is going to be better. We're going to keep on improving. And what I can assure you is that we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So thank you. I hope we see you again in a couple of weeks to a month. We're getting things ready for you guys to enjoy it better and better. please in the comments leave, and this is very important, leave any feedback, any guest you would like us to have. We're always viewer, subscriber driven. We want you guys to benefit. We're enjoying it a lot, and we want you to enjoy it even more.
Yeah, and even one thing, Walid, I want to add, like I remember in episode 1, I said that we are a podcast that is audience driven. So basically,
Audience-driven.
whatever you want, we will do. We're here to entertain you. We're here to get guests, such as the one we have right now, to tell you her own stories, own experiences. So you guys can learn as well as we can learn
course.
from the podcast, because at the end of the day, we're having these convos. Like today was the first time like Walid talks to Nathalie. It was my second time I talked to you. So we're like meeting each other, and you're like viewing
Of
it
course.
live.
Man, and when I was in Lebanon, it was beautiful. Like I met people, they just recognized me from Higher Take. I was like, wow, like I'm so happy. You know, like people I don't know, they and I appreciate you guys
And
for
people
like
are loving
highlighting
it,
that. They're like, like we know you, Walid from Higher Take. I was like,
See, I
Man,
told you about that
yeah,
feeling.
it's
See?
amazing. I'm like, I love you, and I love you all. I love all of the subscribers, viewers. Thank you a lot, man. Finish it off.
One more thing.
Always have a higher take on life. Thank you
Peace.
so much, guys. Peace.
Thank
See
you, guys.
soon.